listen up everybody, we're a little bit early to the spring show. The first day of spring isn't technically until March 19th, but I have been feeling glum and I want to talk about spring now to bring some brightness and lightness into my soul. So I thought it would be lovely, a lovely time to do our seasonal everyday makeup switch up. So today I'm going to be showing you all of the products that I am doing for my everyday makeup to get me feeling ready and fresh for spring. What perfect timing too, because we currently have a break in the rain clouds. That's so funny to me when that happens, when it is pouring rain and then suddenly there's just a break in the clouds and it's like sunshine, but it's raining on the other side. It makes no sense. That is what is happening right now. It's lying to us. It's not sunny out. It is a very rainy day. But let us dive in and get us feeling glowy and fresh for the new season ahead. So yesterday I was just existing and minding my own business and I felt a little itch on my forehead and I just, you don't think about it. You just go, I'm itchy. And it ended up not just being an itch. It was in fact this giant zit that was growing. And then because I itched it really aggressively, not realizing that it was a zit, I aggravated it and made it even worse. So now, even though the sunshine is blinding it a little bit, which I appreciate, this thing is growing and living and it just has a mind of its own. You know when it has its own shadow and its own reflection? Yeah, that's this. But I did put my Lumify eye drops on it and I actually do think it helped with the redness. I saw that hack online. Thanks for the hot tips, people of the internet. But now is a great time to add some glow into the face. So I had a very late night last night. I am looking very dull. My eyes are very tired. So I am going to put a little glowing primer on. This isn't something that I do every day. It's just on an as you need it basis. So this was the Chanel Le Beige Healthy Winter Glow Primer. So even though we're talking about spring, we're feeling the dullness of the winter, and it was actually snowing this week, which does make it feel very wintry and an LOL that we're talking about spring makeup, but even though my feelings on primers have really shifted over the last couple months and the last year, I still appreciate a good glowing primer whenever you feel like you need to add some glow into the face. And underneath that, I just have my usual everyday skincare. So I've got my moisturizer, which is a great priming product in itself. But today specifically, I wanted to add a layer of glow. So in terms of the foundation usage, I've been shopping my stash. I've been kind of going through some of my older favorite products and things I don't really remember how I feel about. And a few weeks back, I pulled out the House Labs foundation. This is the Triclone Skin Tech foundation. I'd used this back when it launched. Maybe I've used it since then. I had no memory of how I felt about this lovely little foundation. So even though I've been trying to not buy any products, the shade that I was using, 160, was definitely too deep. That was a summer shade for me for sure. So I actually ended up picking up the shade 110 Light Neutral. And I do love a good neutral undertone product. So I was very thrilled to have this in my life. And over the last little while, I have actually been doing my makeup every day and putting this on and giving it a true test. And it is so beautiful and it wears so beautifully throughout the day, which is not always the case with a lot of the products that I use. And someone commented asking how I feel about this between my other favorites, like the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, the Chanel Le Beige Foundation. And this foundation is kind of in a league of its own, in my opinion. It's like quite thick when you put it on, like you see it. For me, it's medium to full coverage, which is kind of odd for me to use on an everyday basis, but it would be one of those things that I would reach for when I'm feeling a little bit gross, when I'm feeling extra dull, and I do just want to put that fabulous layer of everyday glam on. The Chanel Le Beige foundation is basically like a barely there skin tint. It's really hydrating. It looks very glowing and natural on the skin. The Armani Luminous Silk is kind of just like a natural skin. It's not too matte, it's not too glowy. It's just like really mimics the natural look of the skin. This one is like medium to full coverage and very glowy. I'm trying to think of what the best comparison is, but to me, it's the most like the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation, which is another product I've used up and loved, and I haven't used it for a while. That is the best way that I can describe it with my unprofessional words, but hopefully you guys can see the finish that it gives. It's there, it's makeup, but it settles into the skin very well. It doesn't settle into any fine lines, and it wears so beautifully throughout the day. So I've really been enjoying it. If you're having a breakout, if you have a lot of discoloration in your skin and you just like to have a little bit more coverage on a daily basis, this is still very much natural looking on the skin, which I appreciate and makes me feel fab when I'm having not so fab moments. So that was a lovely rediscovery in my collection. Now for bronzer, contour bronzer, I pulled out the Vive Modern Radiance Bronzer. I have this in the shade Light, and I had been using my Westman Atelier Biscuit, but I actually feel like mine's a little bit expired because it was kind of clumping up a little bit. So I moved on to the next thing in my everyday drawer, and this, wow, I really hadn't reconnected with this bronzer in a meaningful way in a minute, but I just want you guys to see how this applies. First of all, the color for my skin tone is perfect. I'm thrilled with this shade, but it actually really adds on quite a layer of coverage. Like it so beautifully blends into the skin and it almost has a blurring effect. I don't know how to describe that. If you've tried it for yourself, you might know what I mean, but even putting that on top of my zit, I'm like, wow, look, it's really pretty. And I love that it seemingly adds this layer of coverage and blurs without being detectable on the skin. Like, it's one of the more natural shades and formulas that I have tried when it comes to cream, contour, and bronzer little mixtures. It is so, so nice. And I just think that for me, it's the best shade match. A lot of the products that I use can be a little bit deep. I definitely need to take the time to blend them out, but this one just sits so nicely. Really perfect and beautiful for every day. It is so nice. Now going in with concealer, I'm still using the Tower 28 Serum Concealer, the shade DTLA. I love this one so much, and it's one of those concealers that I know is like a forever favorite because it just plays well with anything that I put underneath it, and that is so nice. Sometimes with concealers and certain base products, you can only use them with certain other individual products, but this one just plays well with everybody. I love the shade. It's a little bit lighter than the base products I put underneath it, so it seems to have a really nice brightening effect, and it also just wears so beautifully throughout the day as well. For an everyday concealer, I love it, and I can't get enough of it. So I'm gonna blend this concealer out with my little Makeup by Ariel Morphe brush. I think it's A16, but now I've forgotten and it's actually cracked and the number is no longer on the bottom of the brush. So either way, it only comes in that big giant kit. I've been saying this forever, but I wish they would just bring this brush out separately because clearly I'm not gonna have it for much longer, but it is so nice. And then once I've blended it in, I'm just gonna go straight into my little blush combo, which is Nude Sticks Bareback, the blush that I can't get enough of, especially when I'm in my natural pale state. And then I've been layering on top of it the Hourglass Ethereal Glow Blush. And I really can't get enough of this combo. Laura Mercier setting powder, that's what we're gonna be doing. And so while I blend out this concealer, I thought I would give you the friendly reminder that I gave myself, because while I was preparing for this video and kind of curating what I wanted my everyday makeup to be, I always feel a little bit of that pressure to be like, oh, I should use something new. I use the same blushes all the time. I talk about the same blushes all the time. And at the end of the day, if you have blushes that work for you, that's perfect. You don't need the new ones. Sometimes a really exciting new formula can come out and it can be so fun to try. Or maybe you're buying blush for the first time, or you've only have one shade and you just want to try another shade and you want to see what's new on the market and what's available, and that's so fun. But I saw some really lovely blushes launched over the last couple weeks and I had that like instant consumer reaction to want to go and buy all of them, and I was like, no, we don't need another blush. This is a note for you, just a friendly reminder. You don't need another blush. If this comment applies to you, you don't need another blush. There's your friendly reminder. It can be so exciting, especially when there's a new season to get excited about. The weather's getting warmer, the sun is coming out, and you want your soul to reflect that, and maybe you want to go out and buy a couple nice new things, and that's so fine. But for the most part, for a lot of us, especially in this beauty heavy world that we're living in, just know that the products you have are probably perfect, and I'm sure that they work great and they look great on you. So even though my makeup content might be repetitive and boring, just know that so many of the products that we have are so perfectly beautiful, and you're allowed to keep wearing them, you're allowed to keep using them and use them up, and that can be very exciting in itself. I love Bareback so much. For an everyday blush, truly, it just sees me through everything I need. I'm going on a trip next week. Am I going to pack this and show you that I'm wearing that blush every single day that I'm there? Yes, I will. Benefit Professional Setting Spray. Give that a little dry, and then I set it in with the setting powder, Laura Mercier setting powder. One thing that I don't always mention, but sometimes I show, is the fact that I always take my powder underneath my cream bronzer and blush line, and I always go along that line, and I just feel like it helps to set that in there. So I don't think that my bronzer and contour and blush would be dripping down my face, but it just does a little bit of like securing that brightness underneath the contour. At least that's what it feels like. When you put a little layer of powder there, it almost has a subtle lifting effect. Am I making that up, or do you guys feel the same? Now for the little blush topper. Now again, this is not a necessary thing to layer up your blushes. I did it as a poking and teasing of myself when I was like, oh, I'm in a cream phase. I am over powder blush. And I was like, I just roll my eyes at myself. I'm like, stop saying that. Of course, powder blush is beautiful and creates a completely different look. The cream blush, if you wanted to leave the cream blush all on its own and just sit and soak in that very natural everyday makeup, I think it's so pretty. Sometimes, if I want to feel a little bit extra glam, I want my makeup to sit and last longer throughout the day. Setting in all of the powder things can be very beneficial. And I just think that for a blush like this, which is so light in itself, it just adds another layer of that subtle blurring effect. It kind of just adds that diffused finish to the blush, which can be really pretty. And these two colors are pretty much identical when they're on the skin. And so they mix together really beautifully. If you wanted to intensify that glow even more, you could use a powder blush or like a highlight topper that has more of a glow in it, more of a highlight effect, and you could dust that on top, and that would be so beautiful too. Whatever floats your boat and whatever concoction makes you feel the best. So at this point, I'm going to set my brows, and I did fill in my brows prior to filming because it just takes me the longest. And that is my Benefit 24-Hour Clear Brow Gel. Now I have continued to use the Precisely My Brow Wax. This was the recent new in product from them. Sometimes I find that the tint, like I just find that if my eyebrows are a little bit too dark, it just makes me feel a little bit weird about my face, which is why I don't always use tinted brow gels, but it can be nice to just add a little layer on top, or if you don't mind tinted brow waxes, you can absolutely use that by itself. But this holding power, the lifting power, if you like a feathery look brow, wow. The wax definitely has so much more of a significant hold, in my opinion, and in my use and experience with it that I've had thus far. It holds it so much more up and feathery than the regular clear brow gel. So the clear brow gel I like for just my everyday smoothing over, but if I want my brow to be a little bit more intensified, thickened, and a little bit more lifted, the wax is like, bang. Now for the eyes, again, on an everyday basis, I don't typically wear things on my eyes. Sometimes I don't even wear mascara, and that's totally fine. When I'm doing my like full face of everyday extra little glam, the next level up, I like to put something on my eyes, do a little shopping on my stash. Love the Giorgio Armani eye tint. This is in the shade 22M. It's a very light kind of taupey brown, and this is so easy to apply and blend out and wear for every day. It does not crease and it lasts all day. So I literally just slap that onto my eyelid and I blend this out with a brush. And I think the color, I actually think this color really complements the color of my hair. But I love that it's not too warm. It's a little bit more on that cool side, but not intensely so. It's not like a gray shadow. Taupey brown is the best description that I can give you for it. And it just feels like a next step up from when I do this with my bronzer. It feels a little bit more intentional, if you will. It's a beautiful one and done eyeshadow, as they say. And yeah, love the color. I've been loving wearing this on a daily basis. Big fan. Now for the mascara, I've recently had another theory about myself. Now I do have an excessive little blinking problem, and that can be brought on more intensely by lack of sleep or stress, anxiety feelings. I often find myself I can have a little blink fest depending on what's going on in my day. But I've recently thought to myself that I don't think mascara is helping that. Sometimes when I put a mascara on, and you can tell, like if a mascara has a lot of fragrance, it kind of just itches my eyes right away. But throughout the day, like if it starts to flake or little bits fall into my eyes, like my eyes just get so uncomfortably irritated. It's crazy. So I actually wanted to ask you guys' opinion. If you have more sensitive, more dry eyes, is there a mascara that you have found helps with that? I was thinking one mascara I'd like to repurchase is my Tower 28 Brown Mascara, which is so perfect for every day. I've also seen so many of you guys recommend this. I have tried it before, and I don't think I liked it when I tried it, but I picked up the Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara, which I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. For those who have more sensitive eyes, what are your thoughts on that? I'm gonna return it if you say no. So I am looking for your feedback here. Please give me any of your mascara recommendations that you guys have found bodes well with the more sensitive eyeballs. Until then, I got a package in from Lisa Eldridge. This is not tested. This is a new product, but I thought I would toss it in anyway. This is her new Kitten Eye collection. So she has the Kitten Flick liquid eyeliner and the Kitten Lash Mascara, which is very exciting. And Lisa Eldridge is the queen of makeup, and I love to try anything that she comes out with. So I wanted to put this one to the test, and I was really excited because she says, and I quote, Lisa's first ever mascara, the answer to achieving fluffy, feathery, and fanned out lashes, which is everything that I love in a mascara. So let's give it a go. Dun, dun, dun. Beautiful packaging, as always. Love the look of that wand, very exciting. No overbearing scent, which is lovely and I appreciate. Let's see how it looks. It's like instant lashes. Seriously. Straight up, that is like instant lashes. The wand is really soft too. It's not like the stabby pokies that hurt your eyeballs. Holy schneik. I have been rendered speechless by a mascara. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, the biggest difference that I found with this is that it is very much a lifting mascara. My lashes look so lengthened, more so than volume, but very much a beautiful, very lightweight, fluffy lash. I feel like that just made me look so awake. Lisa, I love your work. I just wipe some of the foundation off of my lips. Now for lips, listen. We're rolling out with the Victoria Beckham O2 Lip Definer because she doesn't lead me astray and she's not discontinuing or changing her formula. I also gave it a fresh sharpen, and never underestimate the power of a freshly sharpened lip pencil. Love that lip pencil so much. So for everyday use, this isn't very spring-like, but I have been loving the Summer Fridays Dream Lip Oil. This one's in the shade Soft Mauve. I have Soft Mauve and Rosewood Nights. These are the two that I've been like, these are pretty. This is a very unique feeling formula. As far as the plethora of lip oils that we have on the planet, this one feels like a mixture of a lip stain and a lip oil. It's very pretty, and even though I'm getting excited for and planning for spring, it is still very much winter and snowy and rainy and dark and sad, so I've just been loving this combo. And sometimes it's nice to just have that happy little darker glossy lip to get you through. I feel like some of the color remains even when the gloss leaves us throughout the day, and it's very pretty. This has been a product that I've been reaching for the most, but in light of spring, let us discuss bright lips. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of that off and then show you. Obviously, I've already shown this to you, but I had ordered a few shades in the new Dior lipsticks. This is in the shade 784 Rouge Rose Velvet. This was my top pick from the bunch that I purchased. I really love the matte finish because it's not like a true drying matte. It's a little bit more of a glowy matte, a little glow from within. The color is so pretty. This just screams spring to me. I put this on and it just, sorry, I need to adjust this with my lip brush. Hold on. As I was saying, I put this on and it just breathes life into my body. I love this color so much. It's both bold yet subtle at the same time. It's something that I could wear without anything on my eyeballs and I still feel like it would look good. This is the epitome of spring to me, and I was so happy that it worked. I love the formula and I love this color. This is spring. Bright, bold lips continue, baby. So these are all of the products that are currently sitting in my everyday makeup bag. Some of the things that I am pulling out and putting onto my face to get me feeling ready and glowing for spring. Some little pops of color to inspire us. And like I said, this isn't my most natural everyday makeup look. Like I have, my no makeup everyday makeup look. And this is more so that next level, slightly more elevated everyday makeup. This would be like my kind of go-to filming face, going out and about and being out there in the world. And I want to feel a little bit more fabulous. This is my current go-to. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on the products that I've used. Have you tried any of these? What are some of the products that are currently in your everyday makeup bag? And do you have any products that you're excited to pull out for the spring? I hope you guys love the look. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Happy almost spring to you, and I will see you all very, very soon for a new video. Bye!